Ilori, all across Nigeria. We bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
A lovely evening to you, and thanks for joining us on the news update on One News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Wan. Former Ekiti State Governor and Chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Ayodele Fayose, has predicted the bleak future of the party, warning that it may not even finish among the top three 2027 general elections. Fayose opined that at the rate the PDP was going, the party would manage to come fourth with prayers in the 2027 election. He attributed the party's downward trajectory to internal crisis, lack of cohesion, defection of key members, and failure to evolve, a credible strategy that resonates with Nigerians. Fayose also condemned the way the PDP was being run by the leaders of the party, saying the PDP had left a carcass following the defection of key members from the party. He accused the leadership of the party of undermining him despite his sacrifices and commitment to the development of the party. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has urged the Supreme Court to compel Osun State government to refund 7 months local government allocations to the Minister of Finance. The request was contained in a response filed through Fagbemi's counsel, Chief Akin Olujimi-San, to a suit instituted by the government through its Attorney General. Osun had sued the AGF as the sole defendant, alleging that the federal government failed to release the statutory allocation due to its 30 local governments for March 2025. In the suit, the state government claimed that when it queried the Ministry of Finance over the unpaid allocation, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, allegedly said he was acting under the AGF's directive. However, the AGF denied the claim, challenging the legitimacy of the suit and accusing the state government of contempt for allegedly disobeying a July 11, 2024 Supreme Court judgment. Fagbemi argued that Osun's reliance on the 2004 case of AG Lagos State versus AG Federation, where the Supreme Court ordered the release of withheld funds to Lagos State, was misplaced. In a counter affidavit deposed by the Special Assistant to the President, Taye Oloyede, the AGF insisted that neither he nor the Minister of Finance instructed the withholding of Osun's LG funds. The Kano State Governor Alhaji Abba Yusuf has ordered a full-scale investigation into the alleged involvement of the State Commissioner for Transport, Alhaji Ibrahim Namadi, in the controversial bail of a suspected drug baron, Suleiman Wawu. The governor's directive follows public uproar and mounting concern after reports emerged that the commissioner's name featured in official documentation reportedly used to secure the suspect's release. A statement issued by the governor's spokesman, Sanusi Bature Dawakin-Tofa, said the state government was treating the matter with the seriousness it deserves, noting that any attempt to shield individuals suspected of sabotaging the fight against drug-related crimes would be needed. The probe comes at a time when the state government is ramping up against drug abuse and criminality, particularly among the youth, which Governor Yusuf has repeatedly described as a major threat to the security and future of Kano State. And from the southeast, the Anambra State government has dismantled and shut down a notorious baby factory masquerading as a hospital in Umunya, Oyi local government area of the state, in a sting operation against human trafficking. The illegal facility, operating under the name Mother and Child Hospital and Maternity, located at One School Road near Tansian University, Umunya, was sealed today in an exercise that began on Friday after months of surveillance and intelligence gathering. During the raid, key staff and operatives of the facility, including 5 pregnant women and 10 other persons, were arrested after it was found out that the facility was being used for medical malpractice. In an interview, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, said the so-called hospital was found to be operating with a falsified license and was owned by a self-proclaimed medical doctor, a native of Delta State. Obidike confirmed that the syndicate was involved in the trafficking and exploitation of young girls aged between 15, 19, and 21, adding that many of the victims were reportedly held against their will and forced into pregnancies, with newborns sold into illegal adoption ring. The commissioner called on the public to support the government's effort by reporting suspicious activities related to healthcare practices. This is still the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. Still to come are news from the foreign scene and the world of sports. Stay with us. Glad to know that you're still with us, just joining us. This is the news update on 24 News Radio and Television. Over now to the foreign scene. A major security operation is ramping up as Donald Trump begins a 4-day private visit to Scotland. The US president arrived at Prestwick Airport on Friday evening and stayed at his luxury golf resort, Trump Turnberry in South Ayrshire. Trump is due to meet UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Scotland First Minister John Sweeney over the next few days, as well as opening a second 18-hole course at his estate. The president said it was great to be in Scotland and also praised the leaders of both governments. Meanwhile, several hundred demonstrators gathered in both Aberdeen and Edinburgh to protest against Trump's visit. And from Ukraine, 5 people have been killed in overnight strike in Russia and Ukraine as the two sides continue to trade drone attacks. Ukrainian officials said more than 200 drones and almost 30 missiles were fired by Russia, with most targeting some areas where 3 people died. In Russia, Rostov's acting governor said 2 people died in the region after a car caught fire following a Ukrainian drone strike. The attacks came as both sides gave updates on their military operations. Russia claimed to have taken 2 villages in Ukraine's east, while Ukrainian President Zelensky said troops were gradually pushing Russian forces out of the Sumy region. And from China, early results of an unprecedented vote in Taiwan aimed at ousting politicians accused of being too close to China indicate that all have retained their seats. Thousands of Taiwanese went to the polls in what has been termed the Damian or Great Recall poll, initiated by a civic movement. The vote result was closely watched as it could have altered the balance of power in Taiwan, which has seen months of political deadlock between the Democratic Progressive Party (DPP) government and the legislature dominated by the opposition Kuomintang and its allies. But the early result shows the opposition keeps its majority. Analysts have said that if the Great Recall fails, it would intensify political polarization in Taiwan and embolden politicians to do what they want despite opposition from a significant segment of the population. The Great Recall has deeply divided Taiwanese society, which has seen large rallies and fierce debate. Both pro and anti-recall activists claimed to be fighting the sea. And now from the world of sports. President Bola Tinubu has issued a message of encouragement to Nigerian Super Falcons, urging them to clinch a record-extending 10th Women's Africa Cup of Nations title as the host nation Morocco in the final tonight at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat. The president's message, delivered in a statement, underscored the nation's immense pride and unwavering support for the team. In his address, Tinubu lauded the Super Falcons for its awe-inspiring performance throughout the tournament. He commended their display of pride, honor, and strength both on and off the pitch, highlighting their exemplary sportsmanship. To demonstrate the full backing of the Nigerian government and people, Tinubu announced that a high-powered presidential delegation has been dispatched to Rabat to attend the final and cheer the team to victory. He expressed his anticipation of receiving the team, the coveted trophy, and officials in Abuja upon their victorious return. And still from the world of sports, the Nigerian Football Federation has announced the appointment of Manu Garba and Moses Aduku as head coaches of Golden Eaglet and Falconet, respectively. Garba's return to the under-17 national team marks his third stint in charge of the Golden Eaglets, following his time with the team last year. The highly respected tactician famously guided Nigeria to under-17 World Cup glory in 2013 and the under-20 Africa Cup of Nations trophy 2 years later, cementing his legacy as one of the continent's most successful youth coaches. His reappointment was approved by the CAF based on recommendations from the Technical and Development Subcommittee. His latest mission will be to guide the Golden Eaglet through the upcoming WAFU B under-17 tournament, which Nigeria will host later this year. On the front, Aduku takes reins as the new head coach of the Falconets, Nigeria's under-20 women's national team, replacing Chris Danjuma, who oversaw the team's run at the 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia. And that is a wrap on the news updates on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Nwafo. Do have a lovely evening.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are News, we are 24 News